when I was a kid, I remember standing. And this is a pretty strong memory that I have. I remember particularly standing like right behind my parents, and we were in the living room watching like TV, and the news broke, and it was about particularly the ring of priests that were abusing kids. Right, that was it was powerful for me because my mom always installed a fear in me by always telling me to watch out for predators. And she told me particularly, and really helped really entrench the idea of fear as a kid by telling me about particularly like my favorite uncle who was like abused as a kid, right? And I was like so heartbroken. Like I figured like the majority of society, they would never allow for something like that if the chance was really there to stop it in any way, shape, or form. Now, when this particular news story came up, I remember thinking that, oh shoot, that the city might go up in flames at some point. And down the line, I'll say maybe like a few weeks later, I remember standing in the exact same position and watching the next news story and realizing that life was going to move on. And I'll be honest with you guys, I had like now I would say like I just came to the realization that the adults were just dickless cowards, right? That was kind of how it was for me. That's how I understood it. It's July 2025, and despite all the contradictory evidence and statements, our current president, Trump, has denied evidence that there is this guy Epstein was trafficking underage children to elites. Now, Trump platformed on this idea of being an anti-establishment person who would come in and essentially make the establishment pay. So, I mean, like I said, it's July 2025, and all he's done is scam his supporters, or what we'll call MAGA right now, right? And just brazenly accept bribes. Like, not even like trying to hide it, how corrupt this guy is. And I want you guys to understand, like JFK, he was an anti-establishment figure, right? He was making the establishment and some particularly wealthy people very angry, right? And particularly, he was revising our relationship with third world countries. And these people and entities were very much extracting wealth from these countries. So there was a lot of anger, right? We're not going to throw out any accusations because for anybody who knows how JFK died, that could be interesting to see that actually come out. But what's interesting is he saw this idea of the American Revolution as the beginning of a worldwide revolution, right? It was a starting point. And he wanted to see really just that domino effect take place across the world. And I think most Americans would agree that he wanted to really end the wars and do what Trump is verbally promising while he's actually doing the exact opposite. Okay? Now, today, what you'll see, or what I'm seeing in July 2025 is a lot of MAGA creators, they're coming up with ways to dress this up, right? And in terms of the recent news with this guy, Now, during the 2016 election, when Trump was first elected, Epstein apparently mentioned that full disclosure would result in having to end the election based on what will come out about both candidates. Right? This Epstein and Trump have a pretty open relation, like they have a pretty open history, right? And these people are, these MAGA content creators are calling themselves truth tellers. And it is comical, honestly. Like, it is literally comedy to think that you can dance around that idea of Trump having a very real conflicting interest in being literally the establishment and try to find other people to blame, because it is it's crazy, because this idea, he's not I don't think he believes he's fooling anybody. I would say what's really happening is he's sending a message, and the message is going out to the people who would essentially be found guilty if there was a real, actual investigation behind this. And the message is that, hey, you can do whatever you want, and we won't hold you accountable. Because he is saying, he is using the we there. And that is, it's like repulsive to think that this can't get kicked off of, I can't get kicked off of YouTube. But this guy is like, he is just disgusting, honestly, when you think about it, because I think a lot of Democrats, a lot of people in kind of the middle and lower income areas of really finances in general, they hear Democrats say things like, oh, he's a criminal, and they think like, yeah, my cousin's a criminal. Like, what are you talking? Like, I don't care. Like, nobody cares. Like, everybody knows all y'all are criminals. Like, it's just like, whatever, But you don't really, and it doesn't relay the message of who Trump is, because when you hear him, like, in a lot of these tapes and a lot of the way he's talking, it's not that he's a criminal, like your cousin that deals drugs, or trying to sell cars. He is actually just a person, like a repulsive person in a lot of cases, and we need to really come to that understanding. Like, this isn't like the Democrats really can't say criminal and have any weight behind it, honestly. But what you'll see if you really dig into this and honestly understand, like, oh, this is not a guy that I would hang out with. Like, this is like I got friends who were just like not just who may have like danced on the borders of society in terms of what they do and get involved with. There's absolutely no, like, this guy, he leans in, he starts talking, and it's just like, yo, get away from me. What do you like? Like, it's not, and we got to understand that this idea of, and I think this is kind of part of the reason why Democrats, I would say, are also invalid now, because they can't, they can't call them out. They can't say anything, because it's just like, well, the reason why they won't say anything, which is crazy. I've heard like content creators say things like, they're trying to dance around and trying to see what they can get away with. It's honestly embarrassing. There's like a fucking a CIA representative, they're a politician. I'm not sure exactly what position they hold, but the CIA politician is just an open spit in the face. But also the idea of a billionaire politician as well being platformed by Democrats, it is sickening to think that we're here right now, to think that you can smile in anybody's face and think that this is something. But in terms of right now, we got to understand that these guys are invalid too, right? And but I think it's important to understand something. Like, we got these guys here, in terms of the content creators, they are saying things, essentially just feeding just red meat to whatever, and is very profitable in terms of keeping keeping this going, keeping this game show going. And it's very interesting. It kind of reminds me of like how Elon's still viewed as a genius and how he came up in general. But the idea here is that a lot of these guys, a lot of the base, they are very loud and vocal, right? So they may not make up a large percentage of the views, but they'll make sure that they show support, right? It's very interesting. And this idea, I mean, just having kind of just this established few that are loud and vocal, I would say that is something. I would say, for instance, with Israel, right? They seem to be using the same playbook, honestly, because a lot of kind of what you hear and what goes on, there are people who just they follow the script, and I mean, a lot of cases they're just not really waking up to the fact of what's going on, but a lot of cases is just that they are severely, like, mentally ill people sometimes, and that's the environment that kind of that's created there. And I mean, Americans, thank goodness, are they're waking up, I think, to the fact that, they're not going like full blown like white supremacists with this whole, or not Nazi stuff. They're going like they're really waking up to the fact that like the Israeli government, they don't represent like Jewish people any more than the CIA represents American people. And that's important. That's very important, because you don't want that pendulum to swing too far to the other way. Definitely not. But in terms of with this particular situation, I believe that I had kind of like the idea, right? The idea of really just this being a cult, because I don't use words lightly, right? I didn't throw this word around when Trump got elected. And I didn't even throw this word around when he started like hawking meme coins. But really, I think when he started like openly expanding the surveillance state on Americans by nudging Palantir to create this centralized database for efficiency, and none of the creators were really coming out, right? The ones that did, they just looked really stupid because they were trying to like make. They like was it Alex Jones said, what is it? Palantir is like the small AI company, the underdog AI company, or something like that. It was really embarrassing. But the idea here is that I knew when I didn't see like real, genuine pushback, that this was like essentially a cult. This was like, at that point, it don't say that you can't be taken seriously by just regular people if you say that this idea is anti-establishment, so you're gonna give the establishment more power. Like, you know, like, it's just like, what are you talking about? But I don't know, really. Like I said, Democrats, they're invalid, right? I would definitely say that. But this needs to be a real thing, because, like, you got, did I mention the content creators for, like, Democrats right now? They're figuring out ways. Yeah, I mentioned the CIA stuff or whatever, but the CIA politicians. But there are actual content creators online who, I would say, like, I would guess that they're being funded by some very shady people, because they're very popular, getting a lot of light, but, like, they're pretending like it's totally reasonable to think that Epstein killed himself. And that is crazy. That's crazy. It's just like, well, I actually, like, stood in front of that mic, you stood in front of that camera, and you said that's stupid. Like, yeah, I just can't believe some of these people. But they actually said, like, okay, well, you know, I actually do believe he killed himself. You know, like, it's just like, you know, they're not going out openly and saying that, you know, well, some of them actually may be like, oh, there was no client list or whatever. It's just like, or there was no list of clients to really dig out and stuff like that. But it's just like, they're not gonna fight, right? The established Democrats, they're that's not going to be a thing, right? They are, like I said, a lot of these guys, I think, are in the theater. They are in the actual show themselves. We need to understand that, and particularly, like, I think we should definitely follow through with, like, kind of labeling Trump and Trump and, you know, the people that follow, like, these weird ICE people who are, like, just going through with masks and just trying to kidnap people and like, this is happening. Like, this is genuinely happening, and I'm like, that's interesting. Like, I don't see this as, like, this is deep state sanction to me, honestly. Honest to goodness, this is deep state sanction. Like, whatever's about to come up, we haven't seen it yet, but whatever's coming up right now, people are, you know, the Democrats, I'm like, oh my God, Trump. Like, yeah, okay, sure. No, like, just to give you guys an understanding of how, like, just this idea, like, J. Edgar Hoover, there was a president that came in and they wanted to remove J. Edgar Hoover. That's the guy who started the FBI, and he was entrenched so hard that he made it difficult, right? He made it, I mean, not difficult, he made it just impossible to really just remove him. And it's hard to believe that none of the Democrats, like, all of the Democrats are just like, oh my God, these 20-year-old goons are coming in, and, you know, like, like, I'm trying to imagine, like, I just see, like, if somebody like Seymour Hersh was around, he just smack one of these dudes, like, yo, go back home. Go back, like, go and tell Elon to come here, I'll smack him too. Like, what, like, like, what is this? What are we talking about? But I'm just pretty upset with this idea of where we're at now, because in terms of this particular situation, I think it's really, I think, I'm not MAGA by any stretch of the imagination, but it hurt, because not because I trusted, you know, Trump because he's the second coming of Jesus or anything like that. I really genuinely, like, feel like this like orange pedo just put me in the position that my parents were in when, you know, I had to really realize, like, standing behind them watching life go on as they watched the news. I feel like they put me in that position, and that's really what I find unforgivable and genuinely disgusting. I'm going to add a segment to the end of this video, and I hope you guys enjoy.
Where those who perceive truth may strive to make others see.
A big, powerful America, and shoot them for what?
On that continent, we are trying to forge a new identity for which we need each other.
With the last words on my lips, that I am a revolutionary. And you're going to have to keep on saying that.
Yeah, sure. If I
Could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep, this creep, this creep, this creep, this creep, this creep?
She filed a lawsuit against the Epstein estate just 6 days ago.
The main thing he did when I walked in, I thought was interesting, he showed me where the men monitoring everything were. I looked on the cameras and I saw toilet, toilet, bed, bed, toilet, bed. I'm like, I am never going to use the restroom here, and I'm never going to sleep here. You know, I mean, it was very obvious that they were like monitoring private moments.
If there was a video of some guy or gal committing felonies on an island and I'm in charge, don't you think you'd see it?
This creep, 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 this creep. This creep, this creep, this creep, this creep, this creep, this creep, this creep.
How do you know this? That was close to straight.
Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind. You know, I mean, it was very obvious that they were like monitoring private moments.
She believes there are tapes. The question is, who has them?
I have no idea what they're thinking. He's a horrible human being. In Jeffrey's book, he does nasty things to his best friends' wives. Anyone he first tries to gain your trust and then uses it to do bad things. That's